Hello everyone and welcome back to Negative IQ Gaming, except, this doesn't look like Forza, does it? No, this is not. Yeah, this is Minecraft, and this is not the Minecraft video I guarantee you were expecting, because, yeah, I don't wanna talk about the current survival series going on. So, you're probably wondering, why is there a TV in Minecraft, and what is that figure on the TV? Well, this is how we're going to be doing our reaction content from now on. That's blocking the TV for me. This is how we're going to be doing our reaction content from now on, just to, do something different, something that I have not seen anyone else do. I've never seen anyone do something like this. So we're going to be doing reaction content this way from now on, and we have something interesting for you. So, as you all may know, I am a huge Warhammer nerd. I love it. It is probably my favorite fictional series ever. Pyro, however, he knows nothing about Warhammer. I've told him some things, I've shown him little stuff. I know a lot about Warhammer. Pyro, however, despite the fact he's going to hit me with a skillet, he doesn't know anything about Warhammer. I've shown him little snippets, I've talked about it.
Jack shit.
Yeah, he knows jack shit. So, this is what is essentially the lore timeline video. I see a lot of people do Bricky's video. For some reason, I couldn't find it. So, this is somebody else. I will have linked to the original video in the description so you can check it out. And this is just to show Pyro how fucking insane Warhammer is, and just get his thoughts on the whole thing. If you have questions or you get confused, I want you to ask questions. This is insanely confusing and really complex, so if you don't understand something, tell me.
Got it.
Alright. With that out of the way, are you ready?
Yes. I also got you tacos.
Alright. This is a really long video. This is 50 minutes long.
Oh.
But let's do it.
The origins of the man who would one day be known as the Emperor are shrouded in mystery. Some say that thousands of shamans feared that our race and planet would fall prey to the psychic entities that dwell in the warp. Therefore, in their thousands they swallowed poison, and in their thousands they died, so that they would be reincarnated into a single body. Others say that he is just the most powerful of a group known as the Perpetuals. They are the next stage of human evolution, a Homo superior, gifted with supernatural powers and immortality, able to regenerate from almost any wound. We do know that he was already ancient before mankind even took to the stars. Certainly, other Perpetuals did exist, and one by one he found them. Some opposed him, some simply wanted nothing to do with him, but some joined him, and so he set to his task, shepherding mankind towards a brighter future. If you look closely at the pages of history, you can still see his influence. Occasionally, he was a ruler or a warlord or a warrior, but mostly humanity needed gentler guidance from the shadows. But he was always there, always working towards his goal, the salvation of our race. And humanity thrived. We stepped into the stars with increasing confidence and skill. We bounded forward, colonizing Mars, the solar system, and then we spread outwards into the rest of the galaxy. We struck accords with alien races where possible, but defended ourselves where necessary. This interstellar empire was only attainable by the development of warp travel, a dimension of pure energy. The warp lurks beneath the skin of our reality. It is known as the Imperium, the Immaterium, the Sea of Souls, and by many
That's
other
really
names.
pretty imagery.
It is both humanity's deliverance and damnation.
Okay.
There,
So I'm going to pause it here for a second. So in layman's terms, the warp is essentially a wormhole.
Got it.
So you can travel really vast distances in relatively short times. You can actually use it to time travel, though you don't tend to control where you go. And
Mhm.
he'll probably mention it here in a bit, but it's actually influenced by emotion. The stronger and more emotion there is of a certain thing, the more powerful it gets, basically. It can have real effects on the physical world. It's essentially, if you believe something hard enough, it can happen in the warp. But it takes a monumental amount of power and belief to do that.
The thoughts, emotions, ambitions, and fears of sentient life forms find physical manifestation.
There we go.
They gather like rivulets of water, and so our dreams and nightmares formed creatures that eventually gained a rudimentary consciousness. Numbered amongst the most powerful of these beings are those referred to as the Chaos Gods. They weren't all created at once.
These guys are
and
important.
Yet they have always existed, for the warp
Oh.
is unbound by the laws of time and space. There is Khorne, the god of warfare and rage. Nurgle, the god
Khorne?
of disease
Yep.
and despair. Tzeentch, the god of change and sorcery. And Slaanesh, the god of pleasure and excess. They war with each other in a great game of supremacy. Rarely do they put their differences aside and work together. Whether they are actually gods is up to you to decide.
So, first of all, this imagery is awesome. Let you get a good look at them.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So, just to kind of...
Smash on the far right.
Fair enough. So, just to kind of, like... excuse me. Give you a scope as to how powerful these things are. So, Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch have always existed, as far as we
Got
know. Slaanesh came in later because there was an alien race that ended up creating enough emotion of excess and lust to create her. Just by being born, she wiped out 90% of that alien race. Just by being brought into existence.
Ah,
The only ones who survived were in an alternate dimension, or were extremely far away from where she was. So that's the kind of scale we're working with here for these guys.
so what's the female one's name again?
Slaanesh.
All right, hold on. I'll just be right back.
No, come on.
Hope it's rule 34.
All right. Anyway, are you ready to continue?
Yeah.
But they wield unimaginable power and can exert some of it to create what is typically referred to as a demon. Despite the evils that lie within the immaterium, it presented a great opportunity. Faster than light travel. We developed engines that can pierce the veil separating reality, and Gellerfields to protect us from the hostilities within the warp. Navigators are also essential. Humans with the Navigator gene are genetic mutants with a third warp eye, which gives them the unique ability to steer through warp space. Humanity was able to essentially enter this dimension in one place and exit in another. This time of expansion was the zenith of mankind's scientific knowledge. Human scientists, engineers, and inventors were our new gods. They created wonders and worked even with alien technologies. The standard template construct machines, or STCs, allowed human colonists to rapidly fashion everything
Why did I think that
they
picture was the
needed
Death
to
Star for a
dominate
second?
the
Fair
planets
enough,
for
honestly.
whatever natural resources were
It
available.
looked heavily like
Our
the Death
tools to
Star.
create
It does.
and weapons to destroy were at a new height. Just as with the navigators, the human species was even genetically enhanced in some instances. Vast armies of gene-tailored troops now fought our wars. We of course dabbled in matters we should have left alone. The Men of Iron were created, sentient humanoid machines that served mankind's every need, be it administration or war. When they turned on their creators, their armies of mechanical soldiers rampaged and slaughtered billions. The Cybernetic Revolt, as it became known, was eventually won by an alliance of galactic powers, some of whom may not have even been human. We only have scraps of information on this conflict. However, artificial intelligence, or abominable intelligence as it is known, remains outlawed to this day. It is thought that this conflict weakened humanity and was a great step on the road to our downfall. We also have information suggesting that human psykers started to appear in larger numbers during this time. Psykers may appear to you as witches or wizards from ancient myth, or the very shamans mentioned in this tale. A psyker can touch upon the warp with their mind, channeling its energies to reshape reality. Some can conjure fire, glean
That's
instances
scary.
of the future,
Yeah.
or any number of abilities. Though not all are malevolent, rogue psykers have been known to claim godhood over entire worlds. Additionally, whereas all souls burn like candles amidst the tides of the warp, a psyker's burns like a lantern. Demonic entities are drawn to them. They circle like predators looking for a weakness, and can even possess unprotected psykers. Unchecked, these beings presented a massive danger to entire systems. We were reeling from the Cybernetic Revolt, dealing with anarchy caused by rising psyker numbers, and perilous warp storms rose to block off travel and trade. Hunger and starvation followed. Terrible wars broke out as warlords tried to carve out their piece of the galaxy. Some worlds were entirely isolated and over the millennia devolved into primitive societies. This period is often referred to as the Dark Age of Technology, but not necessarily because of its brutality or wickedness, but because so little in terms of its technology or records has survived. Much of our economic strength and political unity was gone. The aptly named Age of Strife was upon us. Post-apocalyptic barbarism rose even on the Earth itself, which had previously been a jewel, a shining hub of the powerful human civilization. Humanity's homeworld, now known as Terra, was in the grip of war as techno-barbarians battled with gene-enhanced soldiers. Our full destructive capabilities were unleashed.
Yeah.
Billions died, and even the last of the oceans boiled away.
You could just use that to
And
pause.
then, in humanity's darkest hour, a shining figure emerged. After millennia of lying in the shadows, he had seen the vulnerability of humanity and the threats that are trying or will one day come to extinguish our light. We needed to be unified into one imperium of man. An iron fist was needed to put humanity back on the necessary path. He stepped into the light and took the name, the Emperor of Mankind. Over the millennia, disaffection had grown amongst the Perpetuals allied to the Emperor. Their most accomplished struggled to keep pace with his mind, but they noticed he was cutting corners, ruthless in his demand for results. But what could they do? Even together, en masse, the Perpetuals were no match for his power. So over the millennia, most of them left or even betrayed the Emperor. Amongst his plans was to build an imperium of man based on truth, his truth, the imperial truth. This removed the religion, faith, and superstition that had defined much of human history. The Emperor...
So, interesting thing about that is that it removed the religion and worship of earlier human history. Current Imperium...
So, fuck Christianity.
Current Imperium is completely and totally centered around worshipping the Emperor as a god.
And that's the only religion they have?
Yeah. Well, aside from worshipping chaos gods. But just the fact that he wanted to, like, stop religion and is then worshipped as a god will never lose humor on me.
had learned
That is
all
actually
too
kind
well
of funny.
that these were easy doors from which the powers of chaos can enter a mind. First, the Emperor needed the cradle of humanity, a seat from which his Imperium would be ruled. He created the Legio Custodes, his personal golden bodyguard.
Big
Each
golden
one
boys.
a unique work of genetic
Ooh.
science.
Oh, they're
never
pretty.
to be
They're very
replicated.
cool.
Armor's pretty.
They're
But
very
he
cool.
needed other elite soldiers that
Oh,
he
and then
could
these
mass
fuckers.
produced to spearhead his armies. 20 legions of
Oh.
gene-enhanced super soldiers, the Thunder Warriors, were created. The armies of the Warlords of
Okay.
Terror were no match.
So, I want to talk about I was accidentally hitting the play button, which briefly paused it for some reason. So, I want to talk about the Thunder Warriors real quick, because they're basically the army equivalent of repairing a broken wall with duct tape. Like, they are not meant to be a permanent solution, but they work for now. And thank God they weren't a permanent solution, because they were incredibly violent, incredibly unstable, and had absolutely no regard for their own lives. Which means that they would drop in numbers.
So, just fuck it, we ball.
Yeah, they were fuck it, we ball. If I'm dying, you dying with me.
Doom guy if he was a space marine.
No, Doom Guy has strategy. These guys have, I look at that thing and try to kill it. But they were incredibly unstable. A lot of times, like, the goal is to make the planet surrender and then rule what's left. A lot of times when these guys were deployed, they destroyed the world so badly there was nothing left to rule.
Oh.
So
they kind of became a problem.
The Emperor's
Yeah, they sound like a
mastery
problem.
of science and warriorship was peerless. Yet still, the Thunder Warriors were flawed. Mentally unstable, they suffered catastrophic biological and metabolic failure unpredictably after a span of standard years. Another solution was needed. By this point, the Emperor had few of his ancient friends left. Yet Malkador the Sigillite and the Perpetual Urda remained. They were both incredibly powerful psychics, and Urda was also a genius geneticist. So once most of the natural perpetuals had left his side, he decided to build some more. Working with their biotechnical division, the Primarch project began. Though not technically perpetuals, the Primarchs were designed to live long enough to see his plan through to the end. They were to be born from his blood, his power, his vigor. They would be the generals to lead his vast armies, and through them, their genetic lines, the Space Marine legions, would be made. 20 Primarchs, 20 sons of the Emperor, 20 legions. The basis of the Primarchs was not wholly genetic science, for the Emperor had not been idle
It was
over
unholy.
the ages.
Quite.
During the Age of Technology,
Why wasn't it
along with
unholy?
other perpetuals,
Because
to the planet
technology
Mogador.
is not
He found
great
it, a
in the
gateway
Imperium.
to the
Ah.
realm of chaos.
This too.
The
This
Emperor
too.
entered and made a bargain with the Chaos Gods. Servants of these powers, who
Dormammu
know of
has
such
come to
things,
bargain
will
at
tell you that he
Kinda,
stole
yeah.
some of their fire. For when he emerged back through the gateway, his power had grown even more, and he'd gained the knowledge of how to create the Primarchs. He was henceforth known to them as the Anathema. Furthermore, this was not the only secret that the Emperor kept. For few know, as the Emperor is the father of the Primarchs, the perpetual Urda is also a biological source. She is their mother. She had stood by the Emperor all
Mommy.
this time. She believed
Kinda.
in their mission. Even the roles of her sons, incredible warriors and generals though they would become, it was necessary to combat the forces that worked against humanity. But it wasn't until after they were born that she learned the true extent of his ambition, the ruthlessness of it. He sought to supplant the natural flow of life with an artificial version of the perpetuals that trampled ethics, morality, and wise prudence. He would use their sons to bend humanity to his will. Those that would not bend would break. There are many and conflicting accounts of what happened next. Some say it was the sheer power of the Chaos Gods, furious at the Emperor's betrayal. Some say a causal loop was created by powers working against the Emperor in the future. But according to Urda, it was her. Understand, she loved her sons dearly and sought to spare them from his terrible ambition. She conjured a great warp vortex in the laboratory. The incubation pods were pulled into the immaterium and scattered onto planets across the galaxy.
Okay. So this is kind of what Warhammer likes to do with really important details. You get multiple accounts and nobody knows which one is correct. It's pretty much just choose your own, like, pick which one you want to believe, because they're never going to say which one is actually correct.
But not all was lost. For he
So
still
it could be correct, it could be
had
not.
their
Who
genetic
fucking knows?
material.
Yeah, who
The
knows?
gene seed implants were made, used to grow 19 artificial organs that turn a normal human male into a superhuman space marine.
Welcome to
Their
the
strength,
Astartes.
speed, resilience, and skills are so extreme that they can annihilate enemies without rest or sustenance. Towering above mere mortals, they have many abilities, surviving underwater, spitting acid, healing at an incredible rate. Even the void of space is not necessarily a death sentence. Recruits are subjected to psycho-indoctrination and conditioning. Their humanity is sacrificed, but their resolve is strengthened, honing them into dedicated and merciless warriors. The Thunder Warriors, for their part, were purged, their usefulness fulfilled, their worth surpassed. But finally Terra, as well as its moon Luna, were under the Emperor's rule, and so he set his eyes upon Mars. The Red Planet had suffered greatly through the Age of Strife, and terrible breaches had formed between Mars and Terra. A religion of survival rose up. The cult Mechanicus was dedicated to the machine god. When the Emperor came, he demonstrated his power by repairing a colossal war engine with but a single touch. Henceforth, he was commonly seen as the Omnissiah, the earthly representative.
Okay.
That thing looks awesome.
Yeah, so that is called an Imperial Knight. They are roughly, I want to say they're roughly around 30 meters tall. That is the smallest mech that the Imperium uses.
Oh.
And it's nearly 100 feet tall. So, yeah. The Adeptus Mechanicus are basically the Imperium's version of IT. They are technomancers, so they're basically living computers. Because the Imperium doesn't typically use computers or, like, smart AI. They have these guys.
Of the machine gun.
So these are
The
basically
Treaty of
the
Olympus was
AIs.
signed,
Kind-
In a
unifying
sense.
Mars with
Kinda.
the
They are
Federal
still
Imperium.
people.
The Emperor agreed not to interfere in the Mechanicum and allowed them to continue their beliefs. In exchange, they and their Forge Worlds would produce and manufacture the wide amount of weapons, ships, and other tools for the Imperium.
Also,
The
something
Eldar,
about them
or Eldari,
is...
are an ancient race.
Oh, I can just right-click to pause? That's good to know. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that part.
I didn't either. So, something about the Adeptus Mechanicus is, despite the fact that they are the Imperium IT, they look like they're aligned with the Emperor, technically they're not.
Imperium Tech Department.
Yeah. So, technically they're not. If you have what they consider to be useful information of some kind,
They
then
will get that information
they will...
one way or another.
Well, that, but they will work with anybody.
Oh,
They will turn against the Imperium and work with its enemies if they value the information that the enemy has to be better than what the Imperium can offer.
stole your popcorn. Anyway.
How dare you? I wasn't eating it anyway.
Their empire spanned 60 million years.
These guys are
Such
also
was their mastery
tragic.
of technology that their lives were spent indulging in decadence and pleasure, their every whim satisfied. They are exceptionally psychic beings, and so amidst the swirling energies of the immaterium, the depravity of the Eldar formed a consciousness. The chaos god Slanesh
There we
was
go.
born, and born violently.
Ooh.
The cataclysmic explosion in the heart of the Eldar realm annihilated billions. Only a small number of Eldar survived. Those who were in places
Oh,
the
many
apocalypse
Eldar.
could not reach.
We
The
don't
Eldar
have an exact number.
civilization was nearly all
Is there an
destroyed.
estimate?
The spirits of the
No.
slain
But we
devoured
do...
by
The only thing we do know is
It
that they
left a
they
war
are
in
slowly
space,
going
a
extinct.
massive
They are not
war
repopulating
waged by the
faster than
eye
they
of
are dying.
terror. In that
That just
dreadful
sounds like a
place,
skill
the
issue.
warp coexists
I
with
mean,
green
if
space
banging caused
and
90% of your
demons
civilization
lurk
to die,
within.
then you wouldn't want
The
to either.
colossal shockwave from this event blasted across the
Absolute skill
immaterium,
issue.
clearing the warp storms that had plunged humanity into darkness. This meant that traveling across the galaxy was feasible once again. In this way, the death of the Eldar Empire heralded the birth of the Imperium, and mankind inherited the stars. The Emperor's Great Crusade, now fully underway, aims to reunite the worlds of humanity, but under his banner. The Xenos races would also be purged, for he wanted to ensure that the tragedies of the past be prevented from occurring again. The Astronomicon was constructed on Terra, a psychic beacon powered by the Emperor's own might. Navigators can use the Astronomicon to pilot their ships through the otherwise unnavigable chaos of warp space. As the Great Crusade
It's essentially
pushed out
a
across the
giant
stars
North
and
Star.
worlds were claimed by the Imperium. Eventually, the Emperor found that which he coveted most, his own son. The 16th Primarch, Horus Lupercal, was found on the planet Chthoniya, proof that many of these incredible beings could still be reunited with their father. For many years, it was just Horus and the Emperor conquering worlds together, but over time, all of the Primarchs were found. They were not all as the Imperium expected. They had grown to maturity on their homeworlds, the landscapes and people moulding them. Naturally, they seemed as demigods to the local populaces, and many rose to become great rulers, but some were forced to eke out a life of pain and turmoil. Yet after reuniting with their sons, these ultimate generals brought the word of the Emperor to the corners of the galaxy. Worlds who would not willingly join the Imperium of Man were brought into compliance by harsher means. far beyond even the Space Marines, their powers and abilities rivaled those of the Emperor himself. Furthermore, no two were alike, each one an embodiment of a different facet of their father's character, and the legions each developed their own preferences for warfare. They truly were magnificent. Unfortunately,
We'll probably
the
watch a
history
video
of
on all the
Imperium
different
records the
Primarchs at some
titles
point,
of only
because they
18
deserve their own
legions,
video.
Yet 20 Primarchs
Fair.
were created. The fates of the 2nd and 11th legions are entirely unknown.
Yeah, so this is something that to this day we have no idea about. Warhammer's been around for 40 years, and we have no idea what happened to these two Primarchs and these two legions. The only thing that we know is that they either did something bad enough, or they were not what the Emperor wanted to
Damn.
have them.
40 years. It started in 1983.
Yeah. But these guys, for whatever reason, have been completely wiped out. They are dead. Their legions are completely dead. And all information about them and records of their existence are completely gone.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
And I can just womp womp that.
Yeah. We have no idea, like, anything about them. And we probably never will.
Their records and statues destroyed. The Great Crusade swept the stars for 2 centuries and achieved the Great Triumph with a victory against a massive Orquar during the LOOOOORE Crusade. After this victory, the Emperor announced that he was going to return to Terra. There was a secret project to undertake. However, the Great Crusade needed to continue. Therefore, one Primarch had to be elevated to a level above his brothers. He gave Horus the title of War Master. To cement his power and demonstrate the honor that the Emperor had bestowed on him, Horus renamed the Lunar Wolves as the Sons of Horus. The Primarchs are brothers of a sort, and as with any fraternal bond, tensions had arisen over the years. There was much bitterness and many rivalries. Magnus the Red, the Primarch of the Thousand Sons, was blessed with much of his father's incredible psychic talent, yet some of his brothers, notably Leman Russ and Mortarion, found Magnus's excessive use of psychic powers to be potentially dangerous. After a great debate, the Emperor issued the Edict of Nicaea, decreeing that all legions beyond the use of navigators and astropaths would no longer employ psykers. And Magnus was not the only Primarch to have felt slighted by the Emperor. Decades earlier, Lorgar and his word-bearers were rebuked by the Emperor for spreading worship and promoting the divinity of the Master of Mankind against the ideals of the Imperial truth.
Yeah. So this is how much he...
I'd say that's a big no-no.
Yeah, so this is how much the Emperor hates the idea of being worshipped. He reprimanded his own son for praising him and treating him as more than a man.
So he just wants to be treated like a normal-ass person.
Yeah, he wants to be He straight up tells people, do not worship me as a god, I am not a god. But nobody listens, and they do it anyway.
Humiliated, Lorgar was slowly poisoned against the Emperor by his top advisors, and he found a new faith, this time in the Chaos Gods, beings worthy of his worship. They plotted the Emperor's downfall, and after many years, the time came. When Horus and his sons went to the Davin system to quash a rebellion, he fought Yugen Temba. Previously a friend, the planetary governor had been corrupted by Nurgle and wielded the powerful Anathame blade, gifted to him by the word-bearer Erebus. Though Horus defeated his old friend, Temba had managed to inflict a devastating wound on the Primarch. It was resistant to their medicine, so Under the
They might
advisement
talk
of
about
Horus,
him.
That's
the
all.
sons of
They might talk
Horus
about him, but
That's
if they
all I
don't...
get.
from
You
the
hate
priests
him.
of Davin's Serpent
So-
Lodge, they envelop.
Trying to think. Who's the most annoying, like, fictional character you can think of? Like, the one every time they appear on screen or
Balloon
in
Boy.
Balloon Boy? He is the Balloon Boy of Warhammer. Everyone fucking hates him.
So fuck that guy.
He's also the reason that the Imperium is in the state that it currently is, which we will learn about soon.
Horus in a chaos ritual, and Horus's spirit was shown visions by the chaos gods. He saw lies and half-truths. The Emperor had deceived his sons, utilized the warp to craft the Primarchs, and then banned its usage. He had abandoned the Great Crusade. He had abandoned the Thunder Warriors. What would happen to Horus and his sons when the Great Crusade was over? Most damning of all, perhaps the Emperor was attempting to ascend to godhood himself. Magnus had foreseen this and projected his mind into the vision, where he begged his brother not to give in to the temptations of chaos. But it was not enough. The Chaos Gods offered Horus power, and he grasped it. They healed his wound, and Horus returned, now their champion. None the
Yeah, and this is Erebus's
through all
fault.
of this, the Emperor was
Fuck
working
Erebus.
on a
Yeah,
most
fuck
important
Erebus.
task, the Webway project. The Webway, also known as the Labyrinth Dimension, is an extra-dimensional space partitioned off from the Immaterium, created by an ancient and long-gone race, known only as the Old Ones. It is used by the Eldar for faster-than-light travel. It is far more efficient than warp travel, and, most importantly, bypasses the depredations of chaos. Using a powerful device, the Golden Throne, to access the Webway, he sought to remove humanity's reliance on warp travel, depriving chaos of its power. Humanity's ascendancy on the galactic stage would then be assured. However, Magnus the Red was about to do something, maybe, perhaps, a little bit wrong. Seeking to warn the Emperor, psychically, he projected himself through the warp into the Webway to Terra, right past the wards that the Emperor had constructed to keep the Imperial Palace safe. Things took a turn for the worse quickly. The initial explosion and the following wars to keep demons from overwhelming Terra killed thousands. Henceforth, the Golden Throne would become the Emperor's prison, as his immense power was required to prevent demons from flooding into Terra. Not only was Magnus's warning not heeded, but Leman Russ was dispatched to bring him to justice. After Horus manipulated the orders, the Space Wolves fell upon Prospero with a righteous fury, in a show of irony that still makes the denizens of the Warp laugh with glee. The Primarch who tried to warn the Emperor of Horus's betrayal succumbed to chaos, used sorcery to spirit himself and what remained of his sons away. Now, in service to Zeech, Magnus would eventually come to serve behind Horus. The War Master needed many allies amongst his brothers, Mortarion, Angron, and Fulgrim.
Okay. So, Magnus is probably one of the most tragic examples of just how fucked up the Imperium is, because Magnus didn't want to do anything wrong. He wanted to help the Emperor and warn him that Horus was doing something terrible. And he, by accident, ended up unleashing chaos, killing millions of people, and getting a bounty put on his head. So it doesn't matter that his intentions were good. The Emperor still wants him killed, and that's why he kind of defected to chaos. Yeah, fuck you either way. He was going to be killed no matter what.
Joined the War Master and purged the loyalist elements from their ranks. A ship escaped, however, and brought word of Horus's treachery to the Emperor, who agonized at the betrayal of his sons. Horus had ensured that some of his brothers would be bogged down in wars across the galaxy and would not be able to respond in time. But still, the Emperor had 7 full legions muster and advance on the traitors. On Istvan V, the first wave of Ferrus Manus, Vulcan, and Corvus Corax led their legions against the traitors with a righteous fury. The second wave dropped in behind them, and then it happened. It was revealed that the entire second wave of Conrad Kurz, Perturabo, Alfarius, and of course Lorgar had already thrown in with the War Master. The drop site
I think that's a
massacre, we
bad
called it.
thing.
Yeah.
9 traitor sons were sworn to Horus
Okay,
to match
so-
the 9 sons of
Essentially,
So cool though.
yeah. So essentially, what happened is the first 3, so Ferrus Manus, Corvus, and Vulcan, they're the first wave of Imperial soldiers meant to defend the planet. The other 4,
Got it.
were supposed to come in and aid them in defending the planet. However, Horus ended up getting to them before that happened and convinced them to betray the 3 that were already on the planet.
Ah,
So they used their 4 armies against the others' 3 armies and pretty much nearly wiped them out. I believe they lost like 95% of their armies. So it was not good. That's why it's called the Drop Site Massacre, is because that's literally what it was.
Not good.
Yeah,
loyal
not
to
good.
the Emperor. But 3 of the Emperor's legions were now severely weakened, and the Primarch Ferrus Manus was dead.
Yep,
Horus
Ferrus
had the
ended up
advantage,
dying.
But he could not defeat the
Rip.
Emperor as things stood. He possessed
Rip,
but a
bozo.
fraction of
Yeah,
his
but
father's
that means
power.
that Primarchs
To
can be
even the
killed.
scales, he too found the gateway at Molech and entered. When he returned, his face looked like centuries had passed for the War Master. He had earned
Stress
the
will do that to
favor
you.
and blessings of the Pantheon. There were many and varied conflicts throughout the years of the Horus heresy. Some were small skirmishes as brother turned on brother, but some were colossal battles where both sides deployed the god engines known as Titans, looming war machines
Oh.
that stride across battlefields
Yeah,
with
they're insane.
apocalyptic weapons, laying waste to entire battalions. Even Mars was caught up in civil war, and the Edict of
Not
Nicaea
Mars.
was thrown to
Yep, the
wind
IT planet.
so that the loyalist legions could use all tools at their disposal.
Not tech support.
Yeah,
However, will I get my tech supported?
right? But Titans are something that they're not used very often because they're wildly inefficient, but they're so cool.
Mhm.
The biggest ones are called Emperor class Titans, and they literally have entire like what's it called? They have entire like chapels on their backs. They're basically a walking city block. And they have the power to basically go, hey, you see the west over there? I don't want to
I
anymore.
don't want it.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, you see that direction? I don't want to anymore. And then they just fucking annihilate it.
Place that up there. I did not mean to place that.
But Horus
I thought I could
needed
just
to
right-click
take
it and grab some
humanity's
ribs.
homeworld, to slay his father by his own hand in order to cement his rule over the Imperium.
Yeah,
So
Horus
with
wants to kill his dad.
gigantic traitor fleet, the Siege of
Damn.
Terror began. Only 3 loyal Primarchs fought with the defenders on Terra,
I will add the
Rokutor,
replay mod
Jagatai Khan,
Yeah.
for
and
future for your
Sanguinius,
future
beloved by
use.
all.
Mhm.
Horus and Sanguinius had once been considered the closest of brothers. The great
Reforged
angel
play.
had the gift
Replay
of
mod port
foresight
to Neoforge,
and had
yeah.
seen visions of his death at the hands of Horus, yet he fought on, trying to preserve his father's dream. Secretly, however, hidden within the Imperial Palace, Vulcan was also there to defend the Master of Mankind himself, and he stood ready with a dead man's switch that would destroy Terra should Horus prevail, denying chaos the world. Despite heavy bombardment and even demons manifesting on the homeworld of humanity, the defenders held time and again. They made the traitors pay for every inch, hoping to delay them long enough so that relief could arrive from the forces of Lionel Johnson and Rabute Gilliman. Throughout all of this, Horus and the Emperor did psychic battle in the warp, and Horus was able to prevent the knowledge of Rabute Gilliman's proximity from reaching the defenders. To bait his father, Horus lowered the shields on his flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor knew that
He
this
even
was
named his
certainly
ship evilly.
a trap, but he needed to end this once and
That's such an
for all.
evil sounding name.
Right?
Fuck, it's genius.
Malgador took
Right?
his place on the Golden Throne.
Sounds
an
like something
act
Blitz
he
would
knew
say.
would kill him, but he would willingly give his life to prevent the demons
Fuck,
from
that's
overwhelming
genius.
Terra,
Why
Yep.
did I think of
and
that?
to give
Yeah.
his friend time to end this. The Emperor,
just gonna send you
Sanguinius,
something real
Dawn,
quick.
and a host
Be
of
paying
heroes
attention.
teleported onto the Vengeful
I am.
Spirit. What follows, none know for sure. But legend tells us that the forces were split up, and it was Sanguinius who found Horus first. Horus attempted to sway the angel to his side, but he held true. Sanguinius stood alone against this terrible foe, but even the mighty Primarch of the Blood Angels was no match for Horus, empowered such that he was. The angel was brought low. Soon after, the Emperor arrived in the throne room to end this revolt once and for all. They battled with the fury of gods, blow after blow that would have annihilated all others.
This is how you and Abyss
It
should
is
watch
said
Digital
that
Circus.
still the
Just
We
Emperor
could.
through
could
Minecraft.
not
We
bring
could.
himself to kill Horus, his beloved first found son. However, Horus held
Wee.
no such compunction.
Mhm.
With the power of 4 chaos gods,
Oh, you won't kill me?
Horus
Fine, I'll kill
battered
you,
the
asshole.
Emperor bloody,
Pretty much, yeah.
breaking his ribs, gouging his left eye, and setting him alight with hellfire. Horus lifted his father high
Damn.
and brought the Master of Mankind down over his knee, crushing his spine. Horus howled with triumph over the beaten body of his father. The legends say that a hero then rose. He put himself between his lord and this champion of chaos undivided. In sight of the ruinous powers themselves, he was there the day Horus would slay the Emperor. He stood no chance,
Damn.
but it is believed that
So the
this
Emperor just
noble
fucking dies
sacrifice
here?
finally
Just wait.
moved the Emperor. Whatever the
Alright,
cause,
cool. Emperor's
the
dead. That's
Emperor
all
could
the
see
lore there
Horus
is. Bye.
as
No, for several reasons.
truly irredeemable. The Blood Angels tell a tale where their Gene-Sire had put a chink in Horus's armor, and through this, the father sent a psychic blast that obliterated the
Oh.
soul of the son. The
Oh.
Horus heresy was over.
Yeah. So
Damn.
yes,
Holy shit.
that's the level of strength we're working with here. He didn't destroy Horus's body, he destroyed his body, his mind, and his fucking soul. There is literally nothing of him left. Not a single scrap of anything.
Fuck Horus.
In
Yeah.
the aftermath, the Emperor's body was retrieved by dawn. He was rushed back to the Imperial Palace, where the last of Malkador's life was spent. He was disengaged from the throne, and his body crumbled to dust. Only one being had the power and will to take that seat now. And so it was that the Emperor of Mankind was interred on the Golden Throne. And there he remains, his physical form broken, but his spirit endures, neither dead nor truly alive. For the next
He's just
10,000
kind of
years,
in
every
between.
day,
Yeah, so this is what the Emperor looks like. He is he
Ancient bitch.
I mean, he's over 60 million years old.
And he can't die.
No, he can't. Whenever his physical body dies, he just creates a new one.
Why? How?
He's a perpetual. That's how they work.
Is there any way to like permanently kill a perpetual?
No. I mean, theoretically you could destroy their soul, but that's something that only the Emperor can do.
So at any point, Emperor could be like, "Nah, I'm too tired for this shit." Kills himself.
Yes, but the issue with that is it would lead to the immediate destruction of the Imperium.
Bro, fuck this shit. Fuck the Imperium.
Yeah, basically, how it
just goes fuck everything. It dies.
Yeah. So a lot of people, or like a lot of other franchises, when they do people resurrecting, it doesn't take very long. Like, they die and then they just pop back to life. That does not happen in Warhammer. It takes centuries for the Emperor to gain enough power to resurrect himself. So, and in that time, that takes down the Astronomicon, which, as we know, is the only thing protecting the Imperium from the massive flood of chaos. So, by the time the Emperor reformed himself, there would be no Imperium to come back to.
Oh.
Hundreds of psykers are sacrificed,
Hey, you want a
both
corn
for
popsicle?
him
No.
and the Astronomicon.
Oh.
But this immense suffering is worth it. His power, his will, keeps the demons from overwhelming terror, and he directs the Astronomicon, which guides the ships of mankind through the warp. Without him, and the immense pain that he endures, mankind would be torn apart by the multitude of threats that face us. A great scouring took place after the heresy. Horus's first captain, Abaddon, took the War Master's body, and the traitors fled into the hellish sanctuary of the Eye of Terror.
Which is
Many
just the
of
warp.
these Marines are now sworn to the Chaos Powers. These Chaos Space Marines are supplemented by their patrons. The glorious work of the Emperor is defiled. They are abhorrent abominations
Fuck
who
the Emperor.
utilize their
Yeah.
dark
I'm gonna die now,
gifts
probably.
in the long war against the Imperium. To prevent another catastrophic rebellion, reforms are implemented. Military bodies are divided. Even the Space Marine legions are split up into chapters, which, according to the Codex Astartes, should contain no more than 1,000 combat-ready battle brothers. These measures make sure...
Unless you're the Black Templars, in which case you can do whatever the fuck you want, because there's no one around to check you.
Alright, time to just do whatever I want, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. But, so the way that it...
Stop hitting yourself, stop hitting
Yeah.
yourself.
So, the way that it worked before is you had the original 20, technically 18 legions, and that's all there was.
Mhm.
Now what happened...
There's a lot more.
There's not a lot... Well, technically there's a lot more, but it's the same... Not the same soldiers, because a lot of them are dead, but it's more the same number, but they're split into different groups. So before, like, you had the Ultramarines, but now you have the Ultramarines and then a bunch of splinter chapters that came from the original Ultramarines, but now they're called something else.
That no individual can wield the same vast power that Horus once possessed. As well as having to deal with various chaos incursions, Xenos races, once held at bay during the Great Crusade, resurfaced.
Ooh.
The Drukhari are sadistic Eldar killers. They lurk in the dark city of Comorra that lies within the
It's a cool speeder bike.
and so
Yeah.
they were sheltered from the fall of their race.
Yeah, so these guys are basically, you remember the Eldari from earlier.
Yes.
These are basically the evil version of that, and they're the main reason that Slaanesh exists. They're the ones that take pain and pleasure and excess to the next level, so they're kind of the ones that created Slaanesh. But because they're in the webway, they were shielded from Slaanesh's birth, so they're completely fine, whereas the Eldari are not fine.
They feed off despair and anguish. Emerging from webway gates, they raid and plunder at will, taking many slaves back to Comorra for their dark experiments. Their nobler cousins, the Azuriani, fled the fall on vast space vessels known as craft worlds. Their immense psychic power and technology allows them to minimize their losses, for they cling
Yeah,
to survive
that was in the middle of
by
the screen.
threat. War hosts only engage after the reading of the Skeins of Fate and lengthy debates by councils of Farseers, warlocks, and senior military leaders. Don't be fooled by their barbaric nature. The orcs pose a formidable threat.
Okay, you're gonna fucking love the orcs.
I think I remember a bit of the orcs in that they could just imagine shit into reality.
So technically they can. But it's not for the reason you think. Each of them is like a really low level psyker, which means they can interact with the warp. And as we know, the more belief that there is in the warp, the more you can influence what happens. There are trillions and trillions of orcs, which means that they can do some wild shit. There's a story about them gaslighting the universe into not making a time paradox because they didn't know what a time paradox was.
They thrive on battle and
the ultimate gaslight and rage bait.
Yeah. They gaslit the fundamental laws of the universe.
Is thought by some to be the only.
Can you use that ability in game?
No.
Like, just like in the damn it, that would be so funny. Just you lose as the orcs and just you go, I win. No, the fuck you didn't. Well,
Yeah.
I imagined it, so it happened.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm not actually aware of a game where you can play as the orcs, other than like a mobile game where you can play as every faction. Because
I swear there's orc miniatures.
no, there are. You can play as them on the tabletop, but not like in a video game.
That's what I was talking about.
What?
Actually, wait, no, hold on.
What you?
There is a game,
Oh.
Speed Freaks.
Oh yeah. Technically, yeah.
Because you play as orcs in that one.
Yeah. So technically you can, but the orcs, they do actually influence reality. So they have these things called the Wa, which is their way of shouting war.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so stupid sounding.
It is, but everything about them is stupid sounding, but it works. And
They're orcs, so it makes sense.
yeah. The way that a Wa works is the more orcs there are, the stronger the energy gets. And then when they go into battle, they perform better. Like they get stronger, they get faster, their aim improves, they get smarter, which is terrifying. They have the innate ability to fashion shit that should not work. Like, there is no reason why anything that they build could possibly work. And yet it does.
This stick is now a gun.
Not to that extent, but like, say
They could just mash a few sticks together and call it a gun then?
they
Not a single stick?
imagine if you tried to make a gun out of the items in your kitchen. That's what they do.
Alright,
And-
I'll make a gun from in the kitchen.
No.
Check real quick. I'm just gonna...
No.
Hold on. Alright. That's what I made.
That is impressive. But as essentially, now what, smartass? There you go. But essentially,
So I just essentially summed up what orcs can fucking do.
yeah. So
I'm
basically,
just gonna take this stick, this door, and this plank and turn it into a portal gun.
so basically, they take just random bits of metal and like stuff that should not make a weapon, and they somehow create a functional weapon. And like their vehicles, if you actually look at it through a mechanical lens, it makes no sense and it should not function, but it works perfectly. And it works perfectly because they believe that it'll work.
Reason that they have not conquered the galaxy. For when
Oh yeah, also they're mushrooms.
What?
So,
You're telling me that this is an orc?
kind of.
That's an orc.
Kind of, actually. So the way that orcs work is when they don't give birth in a typical way. They reproduce via spores.
Uh-huh.
When an orc dies, it releases a shit ton of spores that over the course of however long, they grow into orcs.
Hey, Jack.
They are
Found
mushrooms.
a Warhammer mod.
I've been looking for some, and I haven't found any of good
Includes
quality.
Necrons, Orcs, Tyranids, Imperial factions, and Chaos Legions.
Send it to me, because I
All
want to
for
check
main
that out.
And more.
Send that to me, I'll check it out later.
enough orcs
Installs it into this mod
unite
pack.
under a
You could.
powerful war boss, the resulting
That
war
way- no,
is
wait, 'cause that
nearly
way
unstoppable.
We could just go outside and you could show a couple examples of some of them
Yeah, I could.
if we were able to.
Yeah, I could. We could do that.
That's actually perfect.
Send it to me just so I can see how much it actually has.
Okay, I just sent it to you.
1500
Okay.
years after the heresy, for example, one called the Beast led a huge force that
Oh,
nearly
he's cool.
claimed
Yeah.
terror. itself.
That's an
Also,
orc
be
war
sure
boss.
to add the
Emperor's
replay mod.
remaining
Yeah, I will.
Loyalist sons
It
are
is
now
called
long
Reforged.
gone.
Yeah, I know.
They go missing. Some are presumed dead. Only one lives, and barely. Rabute Gilliman of the Ultramarines had his neck cut by the poisoned blade of his brother Fulgrim after the heresy. He was put in stasis
Well, that's weird. They're
on
supposed to
the
be
edge
brothers.
of death.
Yeah.
He sits as static as his father, but a morbid symbol of
My
the
fat
end
ass just
of
ate that entire
progress,
chocolate
of the
pie.
time
Yep.
when the Emperor strode the galaxy.
Okay. So this is a little bit outdated now. Within the
Okay,
last
so what's the updated version?
the updated version is Gilliman is healed. So he is now kind of running the Imperium because his father obviously can't do it. And also, can you stop messing with that?
Alright.
Also, the Lionel Johnson, he has just recently, like within the last, I want to say 6 months, has messaged Rabute Gilliman, and all he said was, "Brother, we need to talk." Which demigod to demigod cannot mean a good thing.
That does not sound like a good thing.
No. No other Primarchs have died. We know that Jagatai Khan, who is the Primarch of the White Scars, is hunting the Drukhari. We know that
Jack, face the way I'm facing for a moment, trying to get a thumbnail shot while we're here.
Yeah. Lehman Russ is somewhere in the warp. He's pretty much, he said that he was going to go in and then bide his time for the final battle. We don't know what that means. So we don't think he's dead. Vulcan is a perpetual, so he, unlike the rest of his brothers, if he dies, he can resurrect himself like the Emperor. He can't be dead because he can resurrect himself. So we know he's out there somewhere. And then Corvus Corax is... We know he's there, but nobody wants to go anywhere near him.
So I'm just going to stay far away from that one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what he's doing is, after the heresy, he chased a bunch of his traitorous brothers into the warp, especially Lorgar. Lorgar fled to his fortress in the warp, and Corax followed him. So for the last 10,000 years, Corax has been standing outside Lorgar's door, banging on it, and telling him to open the fuck up so he can turn him inside out ass first.
Oh.
And we see traces of him in the warp. We see shadows that resemble crows, we see flocks of ravens, and sometimes we even hear him. But we haven't actually seen him in person. The leading theory is that the warp has kind of transformed him into, like, a crow demon. So he's trying to use his new warp powers to get at Lorgar, but that has not been confirmed. And then the others are either dead. There's only actually, I think, 3 that are dead. Or they're traitors.
As for those fallen sons, 6 traitor primarchs persist.
It's Mortarion. Angron is fucking cool.
Bound to their
That's Fulgrim, who's the one that wounded Gilman, and then Magnus.
Time and again, they bring calamity
That's a dude.
down on the worlds of the
That's a bit of embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, nice.
Down on the worlds of the Imperium.
You turn it off?
No.
You can't do that?
No, I didn't turn it off. I just paused it when it went black. That was
a weirdly, nicely timed thing.
Yeah, that is Perturabo. Look at this fucking unit of a man.
Jesus Christ.
That
is massive.
Yeah, so he is most likely mostly machine at this point. But that's fucking cool.
And so who is left to run the Imperium? The High Lords of Terror now wield incredible power.
They're like the Supreme Court of the Imperium.
Terror organize the Imperium. Systems that call for aid sometimes don't see a response for decades, by which time they've already fallen to invaders or turned from the Emperor's light themselves. Worlds are generally permitted to rule as they see fit, so long as they pay their tithes, such as the military manpower for the Astra Militara. The regiments of the Imperial Guard are the flesh and bone shield for the Emperor's realm.
Yeah, these are just your normal foot soldiers.
Or technological superiority, but they do have their overwhelming weight.
And what you...
God damn it! Why do you keep pausing it so perfectly like that?
I don't know. But...
That's like the second fucking time.
Oh, wait, is it a black screen for you?
It's a black screen.
Oh, not for me, it's not. But you...
Oh, so it must just go black for me.
Yeah. So, you saw what just happened to that poor guardsman, right?
Bro got fucking eviscerated, yes.
Yeah. So, that was courtesy of the Necrons. That's their normal weaponry. That is the gun that every soldier is equipped with as standard.
Ah, so standard issue. Got it.
Yeah, standard issue is Thanos Snap.
And enough
That's the scale we're
artillery,
working with.
mechanized support, and lasguns to fill the air with apocalyptic levels of
Yarek,
firepower.
we love him.
Such immense military might is at the beck and call of
There-
the
okay,
shadowy
pause real quick.
organization.
What's up?
There is a Star Wars weapon that I want to know how good it would be in this universe, and it is the Ambin Phase Pulse Blaster.
What does it do?
Well, firstly, it is one of the most powerful and feared rifles in the Star Wars universe.
Hmm.
It's a disruptor, and it breaks the molecular bonds of organic matter.
Oh, so that's
It just vaporizes anything.
that's exactly what you just watched happen to that guardsman.
Oh, so basically that would be standard issue in this thing.
That would be standard issue for a Necron, yes.
So that is basically Mando's base rifle
Yeah.
that he uses. So giving Mando that rifle, I actually don't know. I think that would kind of level things against the Space Marine a bit.
It would be really helpful, but it's
Because it just breaks apart atoms.
yeah. And that's exactly what Necron technology does.
And it also has a close range thing where it's a stun prod.
Okay. I don't think that would actually work on a Marine because armor,
That's fair.
but a weapon
So
like
I'm
that,
curious what it would do to the Space Marine's armor.
it would destroy the armor. However, Space Marines are not one-shottable by those weapons. It takes a few hits or a hit to the head to take them out.
The only downside of that rifle is it does need to be reloaded after every shot. So that's probably what would kill. Oh,
I think Mando would hit the first shot and it would hurt the Space Marine, but I think by the time he's done reloading, the Space Marine is going to rip his head off.
Of the Inquisition. Inquisitors are able to requisition whatever military assets
This is
that
like
they require
the
for their
FBI
mission. That mission
of
being
the
survival
Imperium.
of the Imperium. Inquisitors act with the authority of the Emperor's own hand. To deny them is death. They will deal it
Damn.
out mercilessly and even unleash the ultimate sanction of exterminatus upon worlds that they consider lost.
That's
Over
Exterminatus.
the millennia, many times, the
I
Imperium
don't like this planet. Let's
expands,
glass it.
shrinks,
That's
is
exactly what they
split,
just did.
then stitched back together. Imperial forces, and in particular the Adeptus Mechanicus of Mars, will go to any lengths to recover an STC, lost knowledge from the Dark Age. But humanity stagnates in many ways. Superstition is abound, and the fear of abominable intelligence is still great. This is one of the reasons that the reclusive leagues of Votan keep their Votan ancestor cores secret from outsiders.
These guys are fairly
These
new.
ancient thinking machines provide them with wisdom, and other sapient machines, the Ironkin, are even integrated into the species society as equals. The Kin are an abhuman clone race of expert miners, traders, and warriors that live amid the extreme worlds of the galactic core. Tough in body, mind, and bravery, they use their highly advanced technologies to take what they need and ensure that they do not dishonor their ancestors.
Yeah, so the Votan are actually really cool. They're basically, what if a planet-sized industrial factory decided to go to war? So they have some pretty insane shit.
Truly, the great irony of the Imperium today is that the Emperor, a man who decreed that there are no gods, is worshipped as one himself
Yep.
by most of humanity.
Which he hates.
He does not like
Imperial
it.
Cult is pervasive and worships the god.
So he would
Emperor
much rather
who
you just go up to him and have a casual conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe not
It's like,
specifically
"Hey, man, what's
that.
up?"
Maybe not specifically that, but he wants to be seen as like a leader, but not a god.
So he's fairly reasonable.
He's a dictator who wants to rule the entire universe by destroying anyone who doesn't want to listen to him. That is not reasonable. Welcome to Warhammer.
So he's
I never really thought about it like that, but that is actually kind of accurate.
he's space.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're welcome for
Wait,
that
no.
thought.
Wait, no, you're actually right. Holy shit.
You gotta tell Abyss.
It's a good thing I'm not the hugest fan of the Imperium, so this doesn't change my view of them much.
Just you message Abyss full caps. The Emperor is space.
I have someone else I can message that's gonna get a kick out of that.
Who?
You don't know them.
There.
Fuck. Now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Warhammer is one of those series where typically in fiction there's a good guy and a bad guy. In Warhammer, everyone is the bad guy.
Ah.
Like there is
the bad thinking they're the good guy.
Yes, everyone is the bad guy thinking they're the protagonist. And that kind of makes it equally approachable for whoever you want to, whoever you're interested in, because no one faction is pure.
And watches over us all. Defiance of the official state church, the ecclesiarchy,
Dude,
is
that ain't
met
look too
with
bad.
resolute severity and merciless
I
purges.
think that actually adds
The
quite a bit to the
lessons of the Great
sequence.
Crusade
Oh, wait, shit, I forgot. You can't see this because I paused it.
are forgotten.
That mech is
for
insane.
most.
Oh,
Even
I saw
some
it.
of the
Yeah.
Space chapters
I don't know why.
deify
Sometimes
the
it
master
goes
of
black, sometimes it
mankind.
doesn't.
Warriors of faith, such as the Adepta Sororitas.
These people are controversial.
How controversial?
So, for the last really long time, GW, Games Workshop, the people who make Warhammer, have never done female Space Marines. And it was said in lore that a female Space Marine was not possible. And then
these guys are that.
They're like Space Marine light. They are in between your typical guardsman and a Space Marine. They're not genetically enhanced, but they have the same gear and weaponry as a Space Marine. They're also morally corrupt as hell. They see the Emperor as a god and believe that the Emperor will protect them just because he's the Emperor and he's the best. But that's not the corrupt part. The corrupt part is how they give out justice. Essentially, if you do not worship the Emperor as a god and completely and totally devote yourself to him, you are not worthy of life. It does not matter if you are an innocent civilian that they were sent to protect. If they do not deem you worthy, they will kill you.
Oh.
It has gotten to the point where we have official canon interactions between sororitas and Space Marines, where Space Marines who don't care, like their emotions have been pretty much flattened, end up defending civilians from sororitas because they think the sororitas are doing something they definitely shouldn't do.
Oh.
So
these guys are fucked.
They are they are self-righteous as hell and believe that only perfection is allowed to continue.
Would gladly martyr themselves for their holy missions. The Sisters of Battle advance with the Holy Trinity of Boltgun, Melter, and Flamer, and ever their prayers
That's kind of
ring out
tainted, like,
for
the
God Emperor.
fandom's
Still,
view on them.
it works. Time and again,
Kind of everyone hates
soldiers
them.
report miracles on the battlefield. Devout believers find themselves surviving against overwhelming odds, guided by his golden light. The phrase, "the Emperor protects," is given new meaning. More Xenos threats arise to challenge humanity.
There we go.
I don't
Alright.
know. I think that looks nice.
Yeah.
That looks a bit nicer, actually.
And just like the guy had said, the Adeptus Sororitas, despite the fact that they are awful, are kind of the only, like, they still prove that the Emperor is watching over everybody and will protect them, because they have had miracles happen to them that can only be described as the Emperor did help them.
The Emperor did it.
Yeah.
Like the Tau, a young but technologically confident race intent on carving out their own empire.
Okay, I have a really funny story to talk about with the Tau. The Tau are the newest faction in Warhammer. They've only been around for about 6,000 years. Keep in mind, the Imperium is 20,000 years old.
Got it.
The Tau, at one point, fought against the Imperium, and they managed to kill a Dreadnought. A Dreadnought is essentially a warrior whose body is too damaged to continue fighting. He's placed in
the guy's in basically eternal pain.
Yeah, he is basically a coffin with legs and weapons. And the body is the battery. They killed a Dreadnought, and they did some research into it to see how old it was. They, after running data sets and looking through, its circuits and everything like that, extracting its memories, they realized that Dreadnought was 10,000 years old, which makes it nearly double the age of their entire civilization.
Oh.
And it completely fucking broke them, because they realized just how unbelievably minuscule they were in the grand scheme of things.
They were just like, oh, we're fucked, aren't we?
Yeah, it basically drove them into an existential crisis.
They are guided by the ethereals and their philosophy of the greater good.
That being said,
and so
they have some of the coolest mech suits ever.
Aim to bring their hope and enlightenment to the darkness of bleak stars.
Oh, they do have cool mech suits.
Like
yeah, look at those.
Threats, pale in comparison to the Tyranids and the Necrons.
These guys are awesome, both of them.
Smash the Tyranids.
I mean, Space Marines do that, but it's with hammers.
I'm not talking about with a hammer.
No, I know you're not talking about with a hammer. But the Tyranids are pretty well agreed upon that if there ever is an end to this eternal war, the Tyranids are going to win. They how can I describe this? They are a hive mind, first of all. So as soon as one Tyranid learns something, all of them do. Which means...
So eventually they're going to learn everything and become unstoppable.
Yeah. They are also adaptive. They create and they evolve their physical bodies to counter specific things. So they learn and they adapt.
Also, the more times you kill one, the less effective it'll be.
Yeah. Also, they are created by biomass. So if they kill something and then bring that thing back to their ships or their hive, they get a new warrior out of it.
Huh.
So they just snowball. The more things they kill, the stronger they get.
Oh.
They're also probably, besides the orcs, are the most numerous faction. Their population is in the trillions. And for all we know, we have evidence that that's just a scouting fleet. They've taken over thousands of worlds, claimed billions of lives. And for all we know, this is just a test fleet. Because we've never seen a homeworld, we've never seen a leader, nothing.
The Great Devourer's technology is purely biological engineering, and the Hive fleets can adapt.
Those ships are insane.
Rate. The entire race is directed by a single hive mind. It seeks to consume all forms of genetic and biological material.
Yeah, they just want to eat everything.
Strike us from within also. Gene stealers can infiltrate
These guys are sick.
They infect the mind, body, and soul. Gene stealer cults have abhorrent human gene stealer hybrids that wait for the glorious day when they can begin their uprising. Millions of years before
they have sleeper agents, basically.
The Necrontyr were suffering.
These guys are my favorite.
From the solar winds and radiation storms of their planet. As they spread out across the stars, their unity eroded until eventually the ruling council, the Triarch, decided a common enemy was needed. For this, they chose the mighty race, the Old Ones. But the Necrontyr were seriously outmatched during this conflict, which became known as the War in Heaven. We believe that it was during the reign of Zarek, the Silent King, that the Catan first came to them with aid. These star gods shared their hatred of the Old Ones, and so they offered support and immortality. The Silent King accepted, and so the biotransference began. Now, technically, the Catan's offer of immortality was true, as the flesh bodies of the Necrontyr were no more, and the immortal living metal bodies of the Necrons now stood. Zarek saw the Catan feast on the
incredibly
very
cool
life essence of his people, and the depth of his mistake was made clear, so he bid his time. It is believed that during the War in Heaven, the Old Ones created the younger races for allies, which included the races that would one day become the Eldari, the Orcs, and perhaps even humanity. After the war was won, and the Old Ones were defeated, Zarek led his warriors in revolt. The unimaginable energy weapons of the Necrons sundered the Catan into shards. With revenge achieved.
So are these the guys you play in the tabletop?
I don't play the tabletop. I don't have enough figures because they're expensive. But I do have some Necrons. And I do want to
so
have
they would
an
be
army.
the main faction you play.
Probably. Either that or one of the Traitor Legions. But the Necrons are fucking impressive. They captured, destroyed, and harnessed the power of star gods. And they completely exterminated a race of metaphysical gods.
King departed our galaxy, but not before
actually,
commanding
maybe
his
metaphysical
people
isn't the
to
right
enter
word.
stasis within their tomb worlds. He then
Gods that live
destroyed
outside
the
reality.
command protocols that granted him control of the people that he had failed. Most Necrons remain dull-witted creatures with little memory of the individual.
Scarabs are so annoying.
But the Necron Lords and Overlords retain all of the drives, obsessions, and...
That rain is really loud.
Yeah, you should just turn down the...
I did.
...personality that they once possessed. For 60 million years, they slumbered. But now they
long
rise
fucking power
once
nap.
more, and the Silent King has returned. They seek to reclaim their lost empire eradicating all life in their path with technology that does not obey the laws of physics and an inexorable determination. But
That thing is
make
terrifying.
no mis-
Also,
It's terrifying.
so there's one specific Necron that I kind of want to talk about. His name is Trazen. He is essentially a fucking Pokemon trainer. If he was a Necron, he wants to catch everything. He has the ability to freeze things in time. So what he does, if he's feeling particularly bored, is he goes out and he finds something that he thinks is interesting and significant, freezes it in time, and then brings it back to his literal museum, puts them in a container of sorts, and then unfreezes them and puts them in a time loop so they keep doing what they were doing forever. He has yoinked entire fucking armies off of a battlefield before and keeps them in his museum.
Damn, yoink.
He's also suspected to be in possession of Rogel Dorn, a fucking Primarch. But we don't know.
Oh.
But we don't know if he actually has them.
Mistake. The true archenemy of the Imperium of Man remains chaos. Their forces are often in disarray.
That is the
but
Great
one
Unclean
has
One.
risen to unite them.
You.
Horus's
Very
first
much you.
captain
Put him in the
Abaddon
bath.
has claimed the
Good luck.
mantle of War Master. He leads the Black Legion, and since the heresy, they have blighted the Imperium with their Black Crusades, each one accomplishing some nefarious aim of Abaddon's. They culminated at the end of the 41st millennium with the 13th Black Crusade that obliterated Cadia, a bastion of defense against chaos incursions. It was our darkest hour, and so, after 10,000 years, servants of the Emperor used advanced technologies and even aid from the Eldar to revive the Primarch,
Yep.
Rabute Gilliman. Against all odds, they succeeded.
There he is. There's
The
Gilliman.
avenging sun, a shining beacon.
Fuck that guy.
No, this guy's
with
great.
the
We like him.
mantle, nay, the burden of
This
leadership.
guy's cool.
His
Yep.
Indomitus
Can we
crusade
switch up?
pushes back.
Right. So he is like, he is incredibly tactical, and he's the one trying to fix the Imperium right now, because he's basically running it. The Emperor can't do it, and no one else is around. And he's doing a really good fucking job.
Oh.
He also utilizes Microsoft Excel.
Against the forces of chaos. But it seems
God
that
damn it.
Abaddon's
After most of the galaxy has been destroyed by the forces of chaos, one force remains. Microsoft Excel.
Microsoft Excel.
You put a portal outside. Okay.
planning has
Uh-oh.
paid off.
You don't see it.
A great rift,
Sure.
the Cicatrix Maledictum, has opened. A series of warp storms
Totally
that
don't
have
zoom in on the
split
portal.
Imperium, the Milky Way galaxy, into two. The
Okay.
ensuing catastrophes claimed the lives of countless worlds, fleets, and armies.
Yeah, so the Great Rift is a pocket of the warp that opened up in the middle of the galaxy, and it split it in half. The half of the Imperia, the half with the main Imperium on it with Terra in it, is mostly fine. The other half is not so fine.
They're not okay.
No. They are... You remember earlier when they said that after the heresy, after the Men of Iron, most worlds were told fend for yourselves?
Yeah.
That's what's happening on the side without Terra.
Oh.
So, like, worlds will go centuries without seeing Imperial forces. But Gilliman is fixing that.
Despite everything, still, the two halves of this broken empire fight on. The Emperor still continues his struggle on the Golden Throne in immeasurable pain, for only in death does duty end Some say he has awakened, and he calls out for his lost loyal sons, and they are coming. The other living demigods of humanity.
There he is. Rogaldorn, not Rogaldorn. Lionel
The
Johnson.
enemies of mankind will meet the Emperor's
Looks
mightiest
cool.
servants.
He is
as
very
once
cool.
again,
He's very
they will
paranoid.
be
I'm noticing that
sons
a lot
and
of-
the ferocious
I'm noticing a
forces
lot
of
of
the
characters
Imperial
look cool.
Yeah. I think after this, we'll go through a video talking about the different chapters, and you can pick your favorite.
of man, and that
But that's for another
will
time.
not be enough.
Oh.
I'm sorry if I misled you, but this was never a story of humanity's triumph over darkness. The forces that attack this bloated, rotting carcass of an empire are too great, whether by technological superiority, weight of numbers, or
Okay. That thing that you
Fucking
just...
will.
Yeah. That thing that you just saw, that's the hive mind.
Oh,
sheer malice, the Imperium will fall. And that is why we must fight. For humankind refuses to go quietly into another race's history books. We will make them pay for every inch of our galaxy that they claim, and unleash upon them such fire and fury that the next time a force assembles to take this realm, they will shudder at the scars left upon it by humanity. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
they should do that to us.
So,
Subscribe.
yeah. So, what do you think? How was your introduction to Warhammer? Give me just... I don't know, just vomit
What the
all your...
fuck?
Yeah, just vomit all your thoughts.
Um.
Checks out. But no.
I have no thoughts. Like, just what the fuck? So much.
It's pretty nuts.
It is.
But it's really cool because there's almost something for everybody. So, just overall, what do you think?
That's cool.
It's
really cool.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah.
That is going to be it from us today. Remember to like, subscribe, share the video, do all the things YouTubers tell you to do. Give us suggestions for more stuff to react to. I definitely want to get your reactions to more Warhammer stuff because, I mean, if this one's anything to go by, then I think we're in for a long one. You're in for a long ride. But yeah, for now, that's going to be it. So thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.